Welcome to the Bougie Black Brother Network. Good evening and welcome to Fade to Black Cinema. I'm Michael, your Bougie Black Brother, and I'm here with my co-host, Aloha.
Hello.
And we just got back from seeing a movie that we found very, very interesting. We're not avid fans of the Fox network, but the movie Bombshell came out with really three of my favorite actresses that's out right now. It's called Bombshell. So starring Charlize Theron, Nicole Kidman, and one of my new favorites, Margot Robbie. And I just knew Margot Robbie was fantastic when we saw I, Tonya. And if you didn't see that movie will tell you the amount of talent that this woman has, because the things and emotionally that she went through and the sense of humor in certain things, and going from that, you would be amazed. But most people know her as Harley Quinn from Suicide Squad, and it's like, oh yeah, she's hardcore. Nah, that's not acting. That's just performing. And these three women really acted in this movie here. So, what is this one about? Bombshell. A group of women takes on Fox News head Roger Ailes and the toxic atmosphere he presided over at the network. So, really crazy, because being on the left side, I don't want to say far left, but on the left side with conservative views, I knew some things that was going on with that because it was in the news. Roger Ailes was a controlling bastard up in there. You know, he created Fox News to show the conservative side and the hard right on just allowing shit to go on only his way. And he took Rupert Murdoch and made him billions and billions of dollars. Rupert Murdoch and his sons actually owned the company, but Roger Ailes ran it, and he ran it in such a disturbing and disgusting way. These women shows part of the underbelly of what was going on in Fox News. So when you kind of started seeing this, or when you stepped in the theater, did you see this going in a way that you would enjoy it, or stuff that you knew, or what was your thoughts?
Well, it wasn't something I enjoy. It was to me, it was like just trying to understand, wanting to see where the story was going to lead to.
Mm-hmm.
Because we really didn't know. You knew that there was women who brung down Roger Ailes.
Yeah.
But you didn't know the whole story.
Like the inside and whatever like that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I found that, it was, the atmosphere was always bad in there. And it made Alicia and I really sit and talk about the toxic atmosphere for women in general.
Yeah, and this was a conversation we had right after we sat and saw this movie, and
there was just some really disturbing portions that you see, that the amount of control that these men had over women who cared about their career, and kind of just let some things go that they shouldn't have.
Like, I mean, honestly, truthfully, like I told Michael, I said, they wanted to be on TV.
Mm-hmm.
And they would have done anything to be on TV. Even though they didn't like what was going on.
Exactly.
They just wanted to be on TV. So if it meant that they had to give Roger Ailes what he wanted to be on TV, that's what they did. But a lot of them, as a woman, there's a time where you have to think about, is it worth it?
Yep.
Is it really worth it? And there was times in my life that I was in situations like that. that what I had to think about it. Was it worth it to bring myself to that level? Was it worth it? And the first thing I said, hell no. Hell no. If I have to scrub floors to get what I'll just do that. But the thing is, these women wanted to be in the limelight. They wanted to be on TV, and they would have done anything. And so those are things that, in this situation, they were already in that environment. And so for them, that's what they had to do to survive.
And what's bad about that is some people that judge these women like, I would have never done that. But there's situations that for your whole career you wanted to be on TV, you wanted to be a reporter, you wanted to be part of an organization that you admired. Now, mind you, they saw Fox as something to be admired. So if that was your goal, you are not going to give that up to a certain extent because that's what you led your life to be. And then, throughout the movie, you saw some people who cared about other things. This guy said, I got children. You can't say anything because now who's going to take care of my children, and I got to find another job. Mm-hmm. Hey, you just had a baby. Are you really going to sacrifice this, and you just had a child? Hey, you're not even from this country. Soon as you get fired, you're going to be deported back. There's things in people's life that they sacrifice. That doesn't mean the sacrifices are good, but they sacrifice in order to have the things that they want or have to have. So you can't really judge people unless you walk through their shoes to find out really what took them to that level, why they had to do certain things. But then there's others that you see too that's, hey, I'm going to move up, and whatever it takes, I'm going to do it. And you heard that conversation too throughout the interviews when they was interviewing women who said they got harassed. But there was a lot of women who knew what was going on and was okay with it because they got what they wanted, as opposed to someone's making them give it to them. But it was really disturbing to see as it was systemic. It was a whole system of this. It was a whole environment that knew it was going on, but they was complicit to a lot of things, or they ignored it, or they was in fear to say, if I do say something, my job is over. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that was really disturbing to see that. And then they had a scene on there that was so disturbing that Roger Ailes made one of the young ladies just show her legs, but he kept going. He kept going and she revealed more than just her legs. And it was so, this guy is capable of saying and doing anything because this woman wanted a better career. She knew she can do it, but she didn't realize the sacrifices with this disgusting old man.
Now remember, she turned on the way the story is. She turned on Gretchen because she really thought that she didn't need Gretchen, and Gretchen tried to explain to her, listen, you don't really know what's going on here. Mm-hmm. And she was like playing her, like pushing her aside, like, no, you don't know what's going on here.
Yeah, so I'm getting it right now.
Yeah, I'm getting what I want. And then to me, that just shows that, at some point, you can't tell the young generation what they want. She was so determined to be on TV that Gretchen's like, I've been doing this for years. You don't listen to me. Trust me.
But she said, look, I can listen to you and get what I want later when I can just not listen to you and get what I want now.
Yeah.
And that big, fast, quick, satisfaction things, there's a cost to that.
Yeah.
And that's what she realized. So breaking down the three characters, really, the three main characters outside of crazy Roger Ailes, and you saw a lot of cameo appearances of the like Giuliani and what's his name was on there.
They did a good damn job.
Yeah, a lot of them. And what's his name? John Lithgow, who played Roger Ailes, was fan-freaking-tastic.
Yeah, they did a good job.
He was terrible, but he was a great actor on there.
Yeah,
but Charlize Theron was Megyn Kelly, Nicole Kidman was Gretchen Carlson, and Margot Robbie was a Kayla Pospisil, which was a combination of multiple women's accusations.
Yeah.
So what they did was the things that she went through, it was a combination of reports put in against Roger Ailes. So she embodied all of those, well, not all of them, but a few of the instances that occurred. And they wanted to, except for having multiple women do that, they just combined in. And a lot of these, based on true stories, they combine, things just to not stretch it out so far. But each of them had really such a different aspect of dealing with the situation that made it really, really cool. It was a really good way of presenting it. I think the writing wasn't as intense, but I think the directing was really good once you got into the meat of the movie. I think the beginning of the walk and talk and her explaining all that, and I didn't really like that too much.
Well, again, the story was basically based on the sexual harassment that they went through in Fox. It wasn't about how they did the news or anything. And it had some pieces of Bill O'Reilly, which wasn't the big story, but somewhat a part of it.
But they wanted to put that in there because in the end,
it did relate.
He fell from the same situation.
Right. And so just in general, you had some of them where you could see where in that environment, they were afraid of Ailes. They really were.
Yes.
They really seriously thought that if they told on him, their career was over.
Yeah.
But at that time, there were other instances of happening within the whole Me Too movement. In that time where it was a lot of male in that industry that was falling and being reported on.
But I think that was was it during that time or was it like right after the Gretchen deal?
All of them. Well, the Gretchen may have been a little bit before, but it was coming down.
Yeah,
it was happening for everybody. So like I think this happened. I think they said 2017, 2018. Because Megan was with NBC in 2018. So that was 2018 was about the time when Matt Lauer and the rest of them lost their career.
They didn't lose it.
Well,
they were pushed out because of what they
sexual
did.
Harassment. Yeah, because of the sexual harassment. Because the women were afraid. They were very powerful in the position they was in, and I remember when Matt Lauer pushed several women out. He didn't like certain women. He was like, I don't want them sitting beside me, and they had to kick him out. So they're just like Roger Ailes. There were just certain things that they were allowed to do before this whole thing happened.
And he kind of mentioned, way back, because once Gretchen put her suit in, there were people who weren't working for Fox who said he was doing that before he even got there. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, but that wasn't even enough. You know what I mean? That wasn't enough.
Right.
So, we were talking about Al Franken during that time too. And Al Franken was resigned in January 2018. Matt Lauer was fired in November 2017.
2017. Okay.
So it was like within that whole year that when it started kicking in, right after 16, and I think it was right after Trump was showing how he treated and talked to women. And then the Me Too stepped up, and then that's when these people start getting hit. And they was kind of like, where's this coming from? I don't want to. It's always been there, but now they were being called out.
Yeah, they were.
And it was like, wow, this is crazy. But in actuality, people all knew this was going on.
Yeah. And it's been like we said, this has been going on for years. And so I don't know what actually I think what you said. I think Donald Trump was the one that started it, where everybody.
No, I think Donald Trump's, when he had that
That,
interview on that bus, the NBC
yeah,
bus
yeah,
and
yeah,
everything.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
That took it over the top. But the Me Too movement was out because remember we were talking about, Google had the harassment thing, and you had, I think the Google guy was going to Uber, and then they found out that he had accusations against some type of sexual harassment or whatever, and he fought. So there was a lot of stuff that started in the tech industry, and then it started moving out from there. And then once the president was way a central part of it, that's when people started saying, if
Oh,
they speak
hell
out,
no.
we need to support them because women aren't lying, and everybody was getting hit.
Yeah,
A lot of people was
yeah,
being hit.
yeah,
Weinstein was right in the middle of all of that.
yeah.
And like hundreds of women was like, yeah, this dirty motherfucker always done this. He has always done that.
Yeah, I think Weinstein was one of the two as well. You're right about that.
Not one of the two, one of the many.
Yeah, one of the many. But I think that was the start of something. I think that was. But you're right though. That was the beginning of all of it, and it just topped it off. Um, but then again, I think that this movie was a good insight of what the environment was around Fox News, because we, like you said, we're not Fox watchers.
Yeah, we're not. And it's bad because when you kind of look at it, you're kind of like, wow, this is one of the things that was part of that whole spree. So I looked it up real quick, and they said the timeline that it started was October 2017. So I'm telling you, it was that 2017 after Trump got in, that whole year, he made it a calling point on women to say, you need to call these motherfuckers out because these men ain't shit.
Yeah.
These men are been doing this and dirty, and now you got a president it's okay. So the ones they were able to get, they were getting them.
Yeah.
And a lot of these men, now I can't do anything. No, you can't harass women. You can't assault women. That's what you can't do.
Yeah, but they've been doing this for years. And like a lot of people say, it's finally caught up with them. And now they're seeing the consequences. And, because, and now that they're seeing all the consequences, okay, what's the problem now?
Yeah.
How can this, how can it, a lot of them are thinking that, since it's over with, it's over with. But
it's never over with.
It's not over with.
Long as you got men who think they're in control, they think they can get away. Well, they were just dumb. These other men were dumb. That's why they had accusations against them. I'm not doing anything wrong. So that arrogance and all still allows a lot of this to go on. But then there's a twist on the other side is, if you criticize women in a way that they find offensive, you can get caught up in that. So that's where some men wanted to be careful, but then other men who aren't being careful makes things just worse for everybody.
Yeah, just don't care.
Yeah, they just don't care. Out of their own sheer arrogance and machismo that makes them say, since I'm a man, you shouldn't be questioning me. You're a woman. Craziness. And you saw that on this movie, and that's why it was a very good movie, but it was very disturbing to see reality on screen. And this was going on. This wasn't like something that was portrayed. This was something that actually happened. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And even they didn't physically show you all the things that he did. There were too many women who knew what the hell was going on. They had even a scene that they had, I think, the real women who made accusation against Ailes.
Yeah.
They showed up and they was showing, and they had a small little statement that they each of them made about what occurred and went from that.
Yeah.
Which was real powerful too, because except for having actresses do it, they had real people go through the screen, and I didn't get a chance to look that up because I thought that was kind of powerful too, to say, even though I'm showing you this, I'm gonna show you some real footage that was going on, because they had some real footage from the other channels that was going on as well.
They sure did.
But overall, what It was a very good movie. I think the ratings was a little mixed. I think the people really liked it.
Yeah, I read it where they some critics said it was a flop. But I can't. No, I didn't see it as like that. I mean, like we both said, we're not a big fan of Fox,
No.
but the storyline was good.
Yes, it was.
I think it brings attention, a talking point in any kind of um topic that a woman
In the
want to talk
workplace.
in the workplace. Yeah,
Yeah.
something definitely in the workplace where it's something that like we said too. It's been going on for years and it's still going on.
And it's still going on.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And the fact is that it was a good movie. To me, it was because it gave. We talked a lot about this one. We did talk a lot about this one, and so my rating for this is actually an 8.
Okay. So I had an 8.25. I thought you was going to be lower than that. I wanted a more intense writing. I think emotionally, there was some points in there that were really good. There was a portion that I thought was really, really, it was pretty hurtful when the other girl, Margot Robbie, was calling her friend to say she need to tell on Roger Ailes and what he did, and she wanted someone to just give her some support.
Just listen
Yeah,
to
just
her.
could you listen to me and support me on doing this? And she broke down and say, I did it because I wanted something, and I should have never done that. And you saw how just overwhelmed she was, and she was on a date. You know what I mean? And she had to step outside just to get it off her chest, and you can see how distraught she was and how painful it was, and you saw that, and it was really, really tough to see a lot of that.
Yes,
because
it was.
And what made it more tough is because women are going through that constantly. It's not after the Me Too, men are more careful. No, they're not. Long as people have power over others, that can continue to happen.
Yep.
Long as someone needs something and a person know what your needs are, they can either blackmail you or force you into acquiescing in to whatever it is that a person wants. That's never going to stop. But you can stop it if you report it and have the strength enough to do a lot of things. But the last thing I want to mention too is Nicole Kidman as Gretchen Carlson. What you didn't realize and what we didn't realize is how smart she was. She was very smart. She knew what they was trying to do to her, and she did so many things to kind of prepare herself to go up against Roger Ailes. So we found that legally she could not go up against Fox in New York. So her lawyer said, but you can go up against Ailes. But she said, but nope, he's in New York. She said, no, he has a residence in New Jersey.
Yeah.
So we can go after him directly. We don't have to go up against Fox. We can go up against Roger Ailes.
Right.
And that was the smart way. And then she said, once I do that, you'll see some women that come out. So the movie was, once Gretchen started it, how did women get together? And I'm not sure if this was the case because I didn't read this though, but it made it seem like once Megan Kelly actually stepped up and said I was, a lot more other women came up within Fox, but I'm not sure. I think there was a lot of women came up and then she came up, or vice versa. But in the movie it showed after she said she was sexually harassed, there was 20 something other, because she was witness W. Right?
Yeah. She's like, wait a minute, that's like 20 something. She knew the number.
Yeah, the number from
So
that.
do you mean that there's like 22 other women who came before me? That's what she.
And they looked at her like,
they didn't want to say nothing.
Yeah, they wouldn't say anything. But you can see because of her celebrity status that if she said it, it would be better for all the other women to do it as well.
Yeah.
And then, if you didn't know, he was fired. And then right after that, what's his name got fired? The what's his name, the asshole dude.
Oh, Bill O'Reilly.
Bill O'Reilly. But they gave them both a fucking huge severance for them to leave.
Yeah, that was
with no compete.
Yeah,
they couldn't go on any other television show, so all they can do is live off their money. But then Roger Ailes, and they didn't say.
They didn't say, but he did pass away.
Yeah, so we knew he passed away, but under what circumstances and everything like that. But if a person of power loses their status, they got a tendency of going, I give up on life. And there's a lot of them that lose their power and they can't stand that. So hopefully, no, I won't say that. But when Trump gets out of office. But yeah, so we got, you said an 8?
Yeah, I said an 8, yeah.
Okay, and and I had an 8.25. So we really pretty close on that. But he died in 2017 as well. Mm-hmm. He died May 18, 2017.
Yeah, right after that he got
after he got fired.
Yeah.
And it was like, get your ass out of here, and he fucking dropped dead. You know what I mean? So yeah, but he paid for all his sins, and they're suffering as it is.
Yep.
But anyway, anything else, baby?
No, darling.
Well, great movie. Really, really enjoyed it. And waiting on a couple of more that's coming through. Got a couple TV series that's pretty cool that we've seen that we'll probably talk about coming up soon as well. But Fade to Black Cinema, check us out on Twitter and all podcast downloads, or go to bougieblackbrother.com and you can check us out there, or Bougie Black Brother Network on YouTube. It will be the podcast on there. But other than that, we thank you very much, and we'll see you next time on Fade to Black Cinema. Later. Bye.